issues of PNC. Let's stick with that because they have declared their support for the NDC.
Yes, Alfred.
Tell me about it.
Yes, the People's National Convention has declared a total support for the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama. The National Executive Committee, NEC, which took the decision after a crunch meeting this afternoon at the party's headquarters, further directed all of its members to vote for the NDC in the December 7 polls. This is coming 2 months after the PNC flag bearer, Mornah, was disqualified from contesting in the presidential elections. According to the EC, Mornah had incomplete particulars of supporters. He also used registered and unregistered voters in a particular district to support his nomination in other districts. His form also contained varying signatures of some supporters and in some cases the same signatures for different supporters. He was therefore disqualified. The Supreme Court last Friday further dashed the hopes of the party by dismissing his application challenging his disqualification by the EC. Here's National Chairman of the party, Samson Awingobit, addressing the media.
That the 2024 general election, the People's National Convention presidential candidate was disqualified. We fought our way to the High Court. We've lost the case. We've went ahead to the Supreme Court. We've lost the case. 9 days to the general election, the PNC not having a presidential candidate cannot stay neutral. For that matter, as a national chairman, in consultation with the leader, we've invited NEC. That is our regional representative made up of the chairman and their general and their regional secretaries, including the FEC members, FEC EME's functional executive committee, made up of the national chairman, and my first vice was here. You get step out. Second vice, third vice. The presidential candidate, his running mate, the women's organizer, the deputy women's organizer, the general secretary, the deputy general secretary, the national organizer, the deputy national organizer, the youth organizer, and the deputy youth organizer. Then our communication officer, Richard. We are all present here today. Out of 14 regionals represented today meeting, out of 16, we had 15 regional representatives representing the NEC meeting today. At the end of deliberation, we discuss and we collectively, majority, have declared that the PNC, the People's National Convention, will throw our support to the National Democratic Congress presidential candidate for the 2024 general election.
So that's the national chairman of the PNC, Samson Asaki Awingobit. Then a flag bearer of the PNC who never made it to the ballot paper, Mornah, Grace, is saying that the governing NPP's poor performance informed their decision as a party to throw their weight behind the NDC going into this election.
Not a political party, even though the EC chairpersons and commissioners are appointed by a president and by extension a political party. We maintain the neutrality of the Electoral Commission. We think the Electoral Commission took the worst decision ever in the annals of Ghana's political history by disqualifying the PNC and its presidential candidate from participating in the 2024 elections. Secondly, throughout this process of turmoil that I personally went through and the PNC went through, you are very much aware that only one presidential candidate made a formal, or let me call it a public, pronouncement that our disqualification was not right. Because anybody that wants the maturation of democracy would have known that the PNC was headed by a former president of the Republic of Ghana. And that respect alone should not have led to the disqualification of the PNC. And it was the NDC's John Dramani Mahama that made that call that they should reinstate us on the ballot. Unfortunately, it fell on deaf ears. If you were here at the start of the meeting, you will note that NEC members took the decision not influenced by any material consideration. NEC members took the decision in the interest of saving our nation from further plunder by the current government. They also took the decision knowing very well that if the MPP in particular was doing well, the PNC would not have been filing a presidential candidate to contest the MPP to win presidential elections.
So that was flag bearer of the PNC, Bernard Mornah. Let's go to the phone and speak to Professor Jonathan Asante-Otre, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast Political Science Department and also a political analyst. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre. Doc, thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Great. So, Doc, we've seen political alliances in the past, PNC giving its support to the NDC and John Mahama. Does this really mean anything beyond its symbolism?
Well, I think that it goes beyond mere symbolism. I thought that long time ago when they declined Mr. Bernard Mornah the opportunity to be, on the ticket of the PNC as a flag bearer, I look forward to a situation where they will have to align themselves with any of the two main political parties, to join forces. Under normal circumstances, they could have decided to join, the PPP because they come from a particular, stock in terms of strategy. But you go into this contest with a view that you want to beat the MPP, and you have not been given the opportunity to do so. So then, if you join the CPP...
And Doc, these if you look at the electoral figures over the years, these are parties that have consistently failed to make numbers at the polls. In fact, some of them do not even go beyond 1% of the total votes, or some don't even make 1%. How significant would your support or numbers be to the NDC or any of the other parties that the others might want to throw their support for?
Yeah, politics is about numbers. What you're saying is true. What I see happening, for example, is that the PNC that is quite strong in Sisala area, where the late Hillary came from, if they don't file any MP there, then it means that by this decision, they will want to vote massively for the NDC parliamentary candidate there, another presidential candidate. You will have some who wouldn't want to associate themselves, but that would be in a minority. Yes, in terms of huge numbers, they don't have it. Politics is about numbers, and you don't take any insignificant number as insignificant. No matter what be the case, presidential elections just as one. And so you just not in any way treat that thing. It is said that the one who gives you little when he has little, the same person who will give you more when he has more. So in as much as they don't have significant figures, I think that as insignificant as they just see or the numbers, one way or the other, presidential, it could be significant. Don't also forget that in Parliament, somebody can beat you with just one vote. Mr. What's the name? The current Mr. Crowder minister beat his opponent by 3 points or so, but points. That is it. So we just do not in any way take those for granted. The other thing that I was telling you about, with respect to the PPP, for example, those who have had problems with the government, have had problems with them, they are families. And they know how they have been struggling over the period since those things happen to them. And it is just a matter of helping out with them. If they don't see the need to come, I think that the NDC must themselves go to them and have some kind of background negotiation, not in public, so that they will feel comfortable. I think that some time ago I saw in the news outlet, is it 40,000 PPP defect to the NDC? I don't know how true that was, but some few months back, something like that was happening. And so if that is the case, Dr. Papa Kwesi himself has gone to them and I want to meet with him put his grievances before him. What that means, he also called on the president, but he was declined. So what that means is that this is a person who is likely to listen to you. So what stops me from asking my people, if he thinks that he's a businessman, for which reason he will not take his neck out, or he thinks that by doing so he would have stabbed President Kufuor in the back. I think that President Kufuor is sitting there, he's still thinking of MPP winning the elections through Dr. Bawumia. As bad as the system has become, he's still suggesting that MPP should win through Dr. Bawumia. So it seems that he cares less about him. I think that the onus lies on Dr. Fakutin to equally do same and take the leadership of the PNC and ensure that they galvanize their people in some kind of alliance with the NDC, if indeed they want the NDC out.
All right.
I think that is a decision they should not delay on.
Doc, thank you for talking to us. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Osiri, Senior Lecturer at the University of Cape Coast Political Science Department and a political analyst. Thank you for your time, Doc. Well, when you say PPP, they respond, yes, sir. So maybe this time it's a call on them to sorry and then do what?
and do the needful.
Yeah.
See.